He wasn't alone on the road. Something was walking beside him.
There is a road in Romania that does not exist on any map. It doesn't appear on Google Maps. There are no signs pointing to it. But the locals know it. And they say that if you enter it after sunset, you'll never come back the same. Some don't come back at all. This is not a famous legend. It's not something you'll find in history books. People don't talk about it openly. They lower their voices. They change the subject. Because this road is not meant to be remembered. It is meant to be avoided. Somewhere in Romania, far from busy roads and city lights, there is a small village surrounded by forests. There is only one old road that cuts through the trees. During the day, it looks harmless, dusty, silent, forgotten. But when night falls, no one uses it. The villagers say the forest listens, and the road remembers. An old man once said only 3 words about that road. Don't go there. No explanation, no story, just fear in his eyes. Because years ago, someone entered that road after dark and never reached home. On a quiet evening, a man decided to take that road. He had used it many times before, during the day. This time was different. The sun was already gone, and the forest was completely still. After a few 100 meters, the silence became unbearable. No wind, no insects, no footsteps except his own. Then his phone lost signal. It didn't turn off. The signal simply disappeared, as if the road didn't exist. He felt watched, not from one direction, but from everywhere. Sometimes he thought he heard footsteps behind him. When he stopped, they stopped. When he walked faster, they followed. The road didn't end. It stretched longer than it should have. He knew this road. He had walked it his entire life. But now it felt endless. When he finally turned around, the road behind him was gone. Only darkness. Only trees. And then someone called his name. The voice sounded close, but it was not human. This was only the beginning. Because once the road notices you, it never lets you leave. The road disappeared behind him. The forest stood still. And then the voice called his name. Not shouting, not whispering. Just enough to be heard. He didn't answer. Everyone in the village knew one rule. Never answer a voice you can't see. Especially at night, especially in the forest. But the voice didn't stop. It called his name again. This time softer. Almost familiar. As a child, he had heard stories like this. Stories told only after sunset. Stories that ended suddenly when someone walked into the room. They said the forest has voices. Not human. Not animal. Voices that borrow familiar sounds to make you listen. The voice called him again. This time it sounded like someone he knew. Someone from long ago. Someone who shouldn't be there. His heart started beating faster. And without realizing it, he answered.
Yes.
The moment he spoke, the forest changed. The air grew heavy. The trees seemed closer. And the voice stopped pretending. It no longer sounded familiar. It sounded pleased. In the old stories, they said some spirits don't hunt with claws or teeth. They hunt with voices. They don't chase you. They wait for you to answer. Because once you do, they know where you are. And they can follow. He felt movement around him. Not footsteps, not shadow. Something slower, something circling. The voice came closer. Not from one direction, but from all of them. He remembered the old man's words.
Don't go there.
But the warning came too late. Because the forest had already answered back. The voice spoke one last time. Not calling him. Not asking. Just say,
You heard us.
Then Scent Thing stepped onto the road.
He didn't answer the voice. In the village, people say that answering is a mistake. Because once you speak back, the forest remembers you. Bend, once it remembers you, it doesn't let you go easily. At first, nothing seemed different. The same dirt road, the same trees, the same silence. But something felt wrong. The road felt narrower, as if it had moved closer while he wasn't looking. In Romanian folklore, there are places that are not cursed, but claimed. Old people say that forests can belong to something. And when you step into such a place, you are no longer a visitor. You are being tested. The trees leaned inward. Branches tangled above him, blocking the sky. The road tightened. What used to be a road became a corridor. And the deeper he walked, the harder it was to breathe. He felt it. Not behind him, not in front of him. Beside him, keeping the same pace. In old stories, They say some spirits don't chase people. They walk next to them, waiting. The voice returned. It sounded familiar, too familiar. Like someone from the village, like someone who knew him well. That's how these things work, according to the old tales. They don't invent voices. They borrow them. There is an unspoken rule in Romanian folklore. If something calls you in the forest, do not answer. If it walks beside you, do not look. Because the moment you look, you admit it exists. And once you admit it, it gets closer. He slowed down. The presence slowed down. He stopped. It stopped. When he tried to turn back, the road behind him was no longer there. Only trees, only darkness. As if the forest had closed behind him. The voice whispered again, closer than before.
You shouldn't have come here.
By, and for the first time, he realized something worse than being followed. He had been allowed to enter. He didn't move. The forest was too quiet for movement. The fog hung heavy between the trees, as if the night itself was holding its breath. He understood something then, not clearly, not fully, but enough to feel it settle deep inside him. This place wasn't reacting to him anymore. It was watching. He started walking again. Slowly, carefully. The road no longer felt like a path. It felt like a boundary. On one side, everything he had known. On the other, something that had been waiting. The fog shifted as he moved, opening just enough to let him pass, then closing again behind him. He could feel it now. Not as fear, not as panic, as certainty. Something was walking beside him, close enough that he could sense its pace, its pauses, its patience. It never touched him. It didn't need to. In the old villages, people speak about things that follow you home. Not spirits that attack, not shadows that jump from the dark, but presences that accompany. They say these things don't take you by force. They walk with you long enough for you to forget what being alone feels like. And once you forget that, you belong to them. He noticed something strange. His footsteps sounded wrong. Not louder. Not softer. Delayed. As if the sound was arriving a moment too late. As if it wasn't coming from his feet at all, but from somewhere beside him. The urge came suddenly. Not fear. Curiosity. A simple thought, just one glance. Just enough to understand. His neck tensed, his breath caught. Every instinct told him the same thing. Don't. Because whatever was beside him was waiting for that moment. The voice spoke again. not his name, not yet. It spoke calmly, almost gently.
You don't have to be afraid.
The words felt practiced, as if they had been used before. As if others had heard them, right before they stopped walking. Ahead of him, the fog began to thin. Not disappear, just thin, revealing a shape in the distance. Something that looked like an opening, a way forward. The presence slowed, as if giving him space, as if offering him a choice. That's when he understood the truth. The road doesn't end here. It decides. And whatever was walking beside him had already made its choice. The only question left was whether he would make the same one. The road opened, not suddenly, not violently. The trees stepped back, as if allowing passage. The fog thinned. For the first time since entering, he could see farther than a few steps ahead. That was how the forest convinced people. It never forced them to leave. It allowed them to believe they could. People think the forest wants bodies. It doesn't. Bodies rot. They disappear. The forest takes what lasts. Voices, footsteps, memories. That is why some return home, but never speak the same way again. He walked until the trees thinned, until the branches no longer touched, until the road felt ordinary again. But something was missing. The presence did not follow him out. It stayed behind. And that was when he understood the rule. The forest does not leave with you. It leaves something inside you. Something quiet. Something patient, waiting for silence. He reached home before sunrise. The door opened, the lock turned. Everything looked the same, but it felt smaller, as if the walls were listening. He sat on the edge of the bed, still wearing his clothes, still holding his breath. The room was silent, too silent. And for a moment, he felt the same presence beside him. He heard his name, not from the forest, not from the road, from inside his own thoughts. And he did not answer, because some rules follow you home. Some roads do not trap you. They remember you. And if you are ever allowed to leave, it is not because you escaped. It is because the forest decided the price had been paid.